YouTube, Down Home News TV, and I am your host, Dre. Got an article coming from AP News. Excuse me while I hydrate. It's about the Louisiana legislative. Was it? Uh, Louisiana legislator bill approves classifying abortion pills as controlled dangerous substance. Sorry for me being so discombobulated. I just got home from work and took a shower, ate. I never get settled before I do these videos, but I'm gonna get better with time. It just takes time, and I'm also gonna stop dipping. Anyway, back on to the article. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Two abortion-inducing drugs could soon be reclassified as controlled and dangerous substances in Louisiana under a first of its kind bill that received final legislative passage Thursday, as it is expected to be signed into law by the governor. Supporters of the classification of mifepristone and misoprostol, commonly known as abortion pills, say it would protect expectant mothers from coerced abortions, though they cited only one example of that happening in the state of Texas. Numerous doctors, meanwhile, have said it will make it harder for them to prescribe the medicines, which they also use for the other important reproductive health care needs. Let me spit this dip out. At least I switched to the pouches, so it's a little bit of progress, I guess. Passage of the bill comes as both abortion rights advocates and abortion opponents await a final decision from the U.S. Supreme Court on an effort to restrict access to mifepristone. The justices did not appear ready to limit access to the drug on the day they heard arguments. The GOP-dominated legislative push to reclassify mifepristone and misoprostol could possibly open the door for other Republican states with abortion bans that are seeking tighter restrictions on the drugs. Louisiana currently has a near total abortion ban in place, applying both to surgical and medical abortions. Excuse me. Current Louisiana law already requires a prescription for both drugs, and it makes a crime to use them, and it makes it a crime to use them to induce an abortion in most cases. The bill would make it harder to obtain the pills by placing them on the list of Schedule 4 drugs under the state's Uniform Controlled Dangerous Substance Law. The classification will require doctors to have a specific license to prescribe the drug, and the drugs will have to be stored in a certain facilities that in some cases could end up being located far from rural clinics. Knowingly possessing the drugs without a valid prescription would carry a punishment including hefty fines and jail time. Language in the bill appears to carve out protections for pregnant women who obtain the drug without a prescription for their own consumption. More than 200 doctors in the state signed a letter to lawmakers warning that the measure could produce a barrier to physicians, ease of prescribing appropriate treatment, and cause unnecessary fear and confusion among both patients and doctors. The physicians warned that any delay to obtaining the drug could lead to worsening outcomes in a state that has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the country. This goes way too far. We have not properly vetted this with the healthcare community, and I believe is going to lead to further harm down the road, said Democratic Senator Royce Duplessis, who voted against the measure. There's a reason we rank at the bottom in terms of maternal health outcomes, and this is why. The reclassification of the drug is contained in an amendment to a bill originating in the Senate that would create the crime of coerced criminal abortion by means of fraud. Lawmakers in the Senate unanimously supported the original legislation a month ago. Later, bill sponsor Senator Thomas Presley pushed for the amendment to reclassify the drugs. Presley said both the drug and the amendment were motivated by what happened to his sister, Catherine Herring, of Texas. In 2022, Herring's husband slipped her 7 misoprostol pills in an effort to induce an abortion without her knowledge or consent. There have been several cases similar to Herring's report by news outlets over the past 15 years, though none of those cited in Louisiana. The purpose of bringing this legislation is certainly not to prevent these drugs from being used for legitimate healthcare purposes, Presley said. I'm simply trying to put safeguards and guardrails in place to keep bad actors from getting these medications. The Senate voted 29-7, mainly along party lines, to pass the legislation. In a 39-person Senate, there are only 5 women, all of whom voted in favor of the bill. In addition to inducing abortions, mifepristone and misoprostol have other common uses, such as treating miscarriages, inducing labor, and stopping hemorrhaging. Oh, that's basically it. And I'm in Mississippi, and I'm pretty sure from what I saw on the news earlier, we were one of the states that were listed as possibly having the same legislation pushed if we have not already done so. I haven't heard anything about it lately, but I know we're one of those states to where as of late it's been much harder to get abortions. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So all you guys and gals in the southern region that's running around mating with random people, I think it's going to bring scary times of people possibly having unwanted children if things continue down this path. But on another note, I do know that the U.S. in total, with our what's the word I'm looking for? With our procreation rate, I guess you would call it. It's like 1.2 or something like that per 2 adults. I think I heard, well, I was listening to a radio station they were talking about it earlier too, and I know Elon Musk said that at the rate we're going, our civilization will collapse due to lack of future citizens. And that's when you get into all the theories about the mass migration, a lot of people coming over here, and maybe that's why they're actually incentivizing migrants to come over here, and especially those from backgrounds who are having large amounts of kids. No offense to Hispanics, but they typically have larger families compared to the American household. But yeah, scary times if y'all out there just randomly doing y'all's thing, not thinking about the consequences. Speaking for myself as well, and it makes you kind of nervous and maybe want to go celibate for a while. I mean, I know a lot of people wouldn't want to do that, but the way it's heading, it looks like we're gonna have to, unless we know we're actually with the person for legitimate reasons and not just for a one night stand. But yeah, Down Home News TV. I'm your host Dre, and let me know what y'all think about this article. Y'all have a good week. It's almost Memorial Day weekend, 4-day weekend for me. But I hope everybody has a wonderful Memorial weekend, and I'll be making more videos throughout this week as well. I was just wishing y'all a happy Memorial Day, just in case I forget to say it in the future.